Hey friends, welcome to Vedyug. I'm your science mentor and today we are going to see very wonderful phenomena which you must have observed in your day-to-day life, which is nothing but our gravitation. So yes, let's learn more about gravitation. But dear friends, let's take a recap of your previous standard because recalling of previous classes is more important because Winston Churchill used to say that the longer you look back, the farther you can look ahead. So let's get started. So first we will see that what we have learned in our previous classes. The first question is, what are the effects of force acting on an object? Its answer is pretty simple. The effect of a force acting on an object is to cause a change in its motion. Your second question is, what type of forces are you familiar with? It's general question, so its answer is also general. So I will tell you some of the forces which we are familiar with. So some type of forces includes gravitational, nuclear, frictional, tension and elastic forces. Our next question is, what do you know about the gravitational force? So it's also a general question and I guess you must answer it with all your general knowledge. So the gravitational force is the attraction between objects with mass. But dear friends, I also insist you to observe the thing in your surrounding regarding gravitation so that you will learn about this chapter very conceptually. So moving ahead, let me tell you friends, the gravitational force was discovered by Sir Isaac Newton, who observed an apple falling from a tree and developed the theory of universal gravitation. सो आपको ये स्टोरी पता ही है कि न्यूटन बैठे थे एक बार, उनके सर पे एप्पल गिरा और उन्होंने डिस्कवरी कर दी ग्रेविटेशन की. बट ये एक हास्यास्पद एक कॉमेडी अगर बात मैं अगर करूं कि क्या उस दिन अगर एप्पल की जगह पूरा ट्री गिर जाता तो शायद तक से हमें ये चैप्टर देखने नहीं मिलता था. बट शायद तक से उस समय उनको भी लगा होगा कि आज ये बच्चे पढ़ेंगे, इसलिए उन्होंने भी ग्रेविटेशन को डिस्कवर किया. सम एग्जाम्पल ऑफ द फोर्स ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन इंक्लूड्स the force that causes a ball you throw in the air to come down again. The force that keeps you walking on earth instead of floating away into space. So in this video, we are going to learn force and motion. Then we will see circular motion and centripetal force. So let's get started. First, let us learn about force. I am asking you, dear friends. So force is basically a push or pull which acts on an object or energy as an attribute of physical action or movement. Talking about its example is pretty simple. The opening and shutting of a door, pushing and pulling wardrobe is the example of force. Now, dear friends, let us talk about motion. So motion means a change in the position of an object with reference to time. Talking about its example is pretty simple, which includes running, cycling, jumping, swimming, eating, drinking, playing, writing, typing, moving cars and throwing a ball. So they are the examples of motion. So आप अगर बैठे हो पढ़ाई करने के लिए, आपकी अगर मन नहीं कर रहा पढ़ाई करने का, आपको नींद आ रही है, तो आप मोशन में आ जाइए, थोड़ा पानी पी के आइए, वॉक करिए और फिर से बैठिए. लेट्स मूव फॉरवर्ड. लेट अस लर्न अबाउट circular motion and centripetal force. So talking about circular motion, the motion of an object in a circular path along the circumference of a circle or rotation along a circular path is called a circular motion. And its example is also pretty simple. Its example is motion of electrons around nucleus. Yes, dear friends, you must have seen that there are certain electrons in particular core of an element. So in between there is nucleus and around it all the electrons revolve. Talking about general example of circular motion, so best example is our planetary positions. So as we know, Sun is the center of our Milky Way and all the planets, all the 9 planets, I must say 8 planets because Pluto we don't consider it, all the 8 planets revolve around the Sun in a circular motion. Now let us talk about centripetal force. So centripetal force is the force that acts on an object in order to direct it towards a center of curvature. Talking about centripetal force, I must tell you or I must give you the examples which I have observed in my day-to-day life, and I also insist you the same. So talking about example, so swinging of a yo-yo around a circle. So force generated by your arm puts the yo-yo itself in motion, and the tension on the string keeps it moving in a circular path as you twirl it. So this was an example of centripetal force. So dear friends, in this video, we learnt about some basic concept about force which is responsible for every motion. So in the next video, we will learn about Kepler's law and describing how planets move. So I have already given you the example of centripetal forces or circular motion with respect to planets. So it will make more easy if you go through this chapter first or this part first. और जब आप नेक्स्ट वीडियो पे जाओगे तो आपको बेसिक, आपके पास फाउंडेशन अगर तैयार है तो आपको नेक्स्ट चैप्टर या फिर नेक्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ दिस वीडियो वो आपको ग्रास्प करने में इजी रहेगा. सो आई वंस अगेन इंसिस्ट यू, जो मैं हर बार करता हूँ, कि दोस्तों आप आपके सराउंडिंग में यू मस्ट ऑब्जर्व ऑल द थिंग्स, ऑल द साइंटिफिक थिंग्स, एंड यू आस्क द क्वेश्चन व्हाई, दैट व्हाई डज इट हैपन एंड हाउ डज इट हैपन, एंड यू विल गेट द conceptual clarity of that particular chapter. So dear friends, let us meet in the next part of the video. Till then, happy learning.